Is this baked potato baking itself into the Dragon team in a better manner than ever? Or is this going to end up being a whole lot of starch? Hey folks, MasakoX here. Now, we've said this many times on the channel that the likes of Babidi and his friend Deborah had little chances to really stretch their legs amongst the crew of the Dragon team. I mean, sure, we got to see them for a little bit, but their potential was very much missed out on. Magic in Dragon Ball would have been quite the game changer. Ki wouldn't be the only thing to consider when you go into a battle, and that could lead to some rather interesting and clever tactics led by Goku because, as you know, that Saiyan can outthink his way out of any situation. Not because he's the main character, totally not. So supposing there's a chance to get Babidi back into the plot a little more interactively. In him, if not becoming wholly good, at least a fair bit less evil than he was before. In the last part of this story, Piccolo had to rely on Babidi's skills to try and bring Super Buu down, whom had been locked in the room of spirit in time for containment purposes. Despite the wizard getting to see the true perfected version of Buu for the first time instead of the fluffier version that he had been disappointed with just now, the sheer unpredictability on display was too much to ignore, sadly. Babidi tried to use his magical powers to contain Super Buu, thinking that his mind would be just as gooey as the simpleton version, but it wasn't. This Buu was far more shrewd and calculating than he had expected. In the end, things went by as expected, with Gohan, Gotenks and Piccolo being absorbed, and now Babidi is alone. Well, I mean, except for Hercule and Dende for company, but thankfully now Goku has arrived on the scene to save the day. But Babidi was still not exactly thrilled to see the guy who had treated him with so much contempt earlier and derision the last time they had met. Would he believe that the Major done good? Let's resume the story, shall we? But not before you check out the Little Potato Wizard That Could shirt available on my spring store. Isn't he cute? Link in the pinned comment. Thank you. The situation was rather dire for the likes of the Potato Wizard. Super Buu, at this point in the story, had absorbed a lot of people. Babidi knew all too well about the history of Buu from his father/mentor. The more people and entities that the being known as Majin Buu would consume and make part of his glorious whole, the stronger he would become, as well as being incredibly formidable, uncontrollable, and intelligent. That's why Babidi usually relied on simply the pure Buu, who, despite being pure chaos, Babidi had a knack to wrangling around for his own ends, which Babidi lacked. Here though, it was the other way around. The majority of the Dragon team had been absorbed, and even though it was nice not to have Piccolo berating him every now and again, the overall danger was present. Right now, Son Goku and his earring that he got from the Supreme Kais are the only things that are standing between the monster and Babidi, Dende and Hercule, who are presently hiding and cowering behind a rock. Babidi is desperate now for Buu to be destroyed. Since he wasn't able to bring him into his sphere of influence and make him his ultimate slave for universal conquest, then, in his mind, nobody should be able to have that honor ever again. All or nothing, as it were. As a result, the little mage was getting a little overly excited, jumpy, and anxious all at once.
What is he waiting for? Shouldn't he punch him in the face or something? Get on with it already!
Babidi squeaked in terror. Dende was not taking to Babidi's overall demeanor very well. You've made this whole mess. Shouldn't you be the one trying to fix it? The Guardian of Earth glared at Babidi, who then went on to raise his eyebrow. Babidi turned away.
I don't know how. This level of perfection for Majin Buu has never been seen before. No previous meals have ever been this powerful.
Hercule, who had been paying little attention to the previous bit, then rounded back on the wizard.
Huh, like it or not, the green guy's got you there, Potato Man.
From what I can feel, mused Dende, Buu's aura is less erratic than before. Perhaps Piccolo and Gohan's influence is measuring the beast out, and its actions. Is there maybe a way we could reason with it, perhaps? Babidi scoffed at the idea of playing nice with Buu. He didn't do with the original Buu, and he wasn't going to do it now.
I see your thinking, but it's the opposite, actually. After he got the Namekian and the brainy Saiyan boy, his intelligence has skyrocketed. He will be able to outthink us at every turn. I'm afraid that...
What is it? Say it. Dende looked uneasy.
I'm afraid my magic won't work. As you see, I think Buu is now, and I hate to say it, there is a slim chance that...
Hercule, who could barely understand this, knew when he was being played around, though, in circles.
Oh, for crying out loud, speak up!
He might be even smarter than myself. What does that make me? Next to useless, I bet you're thinking.
Babidi gazed upon Goku once more. What was he waiting for? He was looking at the three of them. Is it possible that this earring was something else? Of course. It all fell into place. He heard about these. He was allied with those pesky Kai, so of course this would make sense. Those things were Potara. So that's why he was stalling. It seems to Babidi's keen eye that he was considering a candidate for fusion. You didn't have to do some kind of silly dance to make it work. All you had to do was just wear the earring on the opposite ear from the other person, and it did the rest. Well, Babidi knew that himself and the Namekian were obviously out of the picture. That would leave... Oh my.
Why are you looking at me like that? Got any problems, Turtle Boy?
No, forget it.
But before Babidi could muse any further, and just when Son Goku was about to throw, reluctantly, the earring to Hercule, someone else appeared. It was Vegeta. Do these people ever die, Babidi thought? How on other worlds do they manage to get a constant reset button to come back whenever they please? It's like death doesn't matter. Gee, Babidi, we have no idea about that. But despite this twist, their behaviour was as predictable as ever from the brief time he had spent around them. The two of them, Goku and Vegeta, of course, were bickering about the whole prospect of permanently fusing with each other, with the older Saiyan being really disgusted by the idea. And all the while, Son Goku was giving one of his heroic speeches to which simply riled the prince up even more.
Oh, it's so predictable.
The mage had had enough of this jabbering. With all the volume he could muster, he didn't care if Buu could hear him. He made himself known.
Oh, get on with it already, you two! Cease this pointless prattle!
The two Saiyans looked positively shocked, as was Buu, but it seemed to do the trick. This surprising outburst prompted them both to set aside their differences. Vegeta gave Babidi, though, a glare that caused his heart to almost go to his throat. He may as well have said,
If you ever do that again, I will snap your neck.
They became one fighter who was giving Buu a pretty hard time. Babidi had never seen a Potara fusion before, but from the looks of it, it was a very formidable one. Hey, maybe these two might have a chance against Buu after all. Even though the tide was turning back in their favour, Babidi had to now go back to being the exposition wizard.
Hey, wizard guy, what's happening up there? Why is there one guy now instead of two? Does it have something to do with mirrors?
But Babidi felt in a better mood right now, so he went along with the mindless question.
They appear to have permanently fused with one another, using the divine earrings known as Potara. They are one person now, and forever will be.
Wow, June, we could do that to you? Well, I'm glad I'm not wearing any.
Dende laughed awkwardly. Relax, Hercule. It's only those earrings that do that. But Babidi looked at Buu. At least if Buu won the day and ultimately ended up killing him, he will not be around this loud cretin of a human for any longer. That was one plus. But this fused fellow was truly something else. He was strong enough to anger Buu, run circles around him for a laugh, and even when he was turned into a candy, he still retained his intelligence and forethinking and was wrecking the monster from the inside. It was truly incredible. He had never seen anybody be able to maintain their mind and control whilst being turned into a candy before. Babidi made a note to himself to study Potara even more once he could get away from Earth. It was fascinating. And after what seemed like an eternity of just watching Buu be played for a chump, the genie was forced to revert Vegeta back into his human form. But this idiot just allowed himself to be absorbed again, entirely.
Why? Oh, why would he do such a thing?
Babidi was banging his fist against his head in frustration. Dende tried to hush Babidi, but Buu took some special interest in the remaining three survivors.
Well, well, look who it is, my so-called master. To see you with these losers does not surprise me. You are a loser as well, and a coward. You quickly changed allegiances when things weren't going your way.
Babidi looked panicked.
I didn't know you knew so many words.
Super Buu smiled widely.
There's a lot of things you don't know about me. Right now, in fact, I wonder who really is the dumb one around here. However, I'm feeling generous. I have no desire to kill you or your posse. You are beneath me. Your candy would taste lousy anyway. Instead, you can watch me have some fun around here, like that universe I was meant to bring under my will millennia ago. You will be the last living things in this world, Master.
Before Buu could do anything else, there was something happening in his stomach.
Gentlemen, excuse Buu for a second.
Was Buu having a stomach ache? Hercule nodded.
That's the look of somebody who needs the bathroom, all right.
Did he materialize in an outhouse? A universe-destroying entity conjuring up a makeshift toilet? Huh. But wait, was there more to this? Could it be that fusion allowed themselves to be absorbed? That all of this was a ruse to try and incapacitate Buu in a way he wouldn't expect? After a moment, their suspicions were proved accurate. They witnessed that Buu was panicking. What was going on here? After another moment, Goku and Vegeta exit out of Buu's body, separate, leaving with Piccolo, their sons, and... Wait, was that the first Buu? The blobby one? Babidi was surprised to see the two separated again as well. Also, he sees that Super Buu was changing. At first, he wasn't sure what he would turn into, but then the form was becoming familiar. Wait, could it be that this whole time? Babidi was irritated, but seeing Buu was shrinking.
What is happening to him? Wizard, explain!
Vegeta yelled at Babidi.
I think he's reverting to his most primal form. Good news is he's not stronger.
Goku looked at Buu narrowly.
What's the bad news? He's the most savage one of them all.
Can't you control him then?
Said Piccolo, but Babidi looked despondent.
My father could, but I could not. I never knew how to, but perhaps.
And in that moment, they had Kid Buu ready to wreak havoc on them. But that was perfect for Babidi. This form of the monster was what he needed from the start. But then something caught Goku's eye.
Wait, what is he doing? Ah, he's going to blow up the planet!
Babidi yelled. He knew exactly what he was going to do. Since Buu was now pure chaos, the most chaotic thing to do would be to obviously blow up the planet, killing all of his enemies in one go. Get rid of the problem in next to no time. And as such, Babidi used his magic, all the might he had, to hold the creature in place, and if not be able to destroy him or control him, at least keep him on the spot, tempering his movement for a short while so the others could do something. Kid Buu looked at him, trying to resist, the angriest expression on his face. But it worked. But he was still holding the planet-bursting orb, however. One false move on either party, and the planet would be doomed. Everyone looked at the monster, and then at Babidi. He was so close to turning this whole mess on its head, and he completely didn't know why he yelled out loud.
What are you waiting for? Blast him!
Goku and Vegeta nodded and combined their forces. But it wasn't enough though. But then a third being joined soon after. It was the other Buu. Together, they redirected Buu's own energy on itself to obliterate him. With no ability to move any part of his body or even stretch, Kid Buu was a sitting duck. His good side had betrayed him. Kid Buu was no more. But then when the dust settled and Babidi realized what he had done, this didn't feel like a win. No. What was he thinking? He was so close to total victory. He could have gotten control of Buu. He knew he could. Wiping out these fools away? Why would he just... No! He had to justify his actions to himself though. Yes, that had to be it. Buu was close to destroying the planet, and he was on it, so, self-preservation. Yeah, that's it. The plan wasn't going to work, and so Babidi chose to end it on his terms. Yes. Everyone looked at Babidi for what he might do next, now that the present threat was gone. Vegeta noted though that Good Buu was the one to help them, and Hercule pleaded for his life, but the wizard though wasn't all that trusting.
He cannot be trusted. He almost tried to kill me earlier. If I cannot control him, then nobody can.
Goku looked serious, but chimed in to defend the good genie.
Maybe, but he helped to stop the monster. I can feel that he's not as bad as the other one. Ha! That's only because he wanted to save his own worthless life.
But Vegeta piped up.
I think that qualifies for you right now. Why should we protect your worthless life?
Babidi tried to plead his case.
Listen, I'm not a threat to you anymore. It's clear to me now. I can just be on my merry way, you'll go yours, and we can just forget that this ever happened. Yes?
Piccolo looked carefully at the wizard and made his judgment.
I'll make sure he won't do anything funny. Him and me, we have an understanding.
Vegeta glared at the Namekian.
Are you sure this is wise, Namekian? If he does anything, it's all on you.
Piccolo nodded.
I'm aware of that. I know what I'm doing, Vegeta. There's a lot of things that I gleaned from this creature earlier. But yeah, you get to live. Let's go, Potato Head.
Go where? I have no intention of...
Vegeta started to charge a ki blast just to prove his point.
You're lucky that the Green Man is showing mercy. Whereas I would never give such a thing to the likes of you.
Babidi sighed deeply.
Lead the way.
After everyone was revived with the Dragon Balls and the bad memories were erased, Babidi and Piccolo travelled around the world, where Piccolo helped, or rather urged the wizard, to use his magic to fix all of the destruction his minions had caused. As people now no longer have any bad memories of Buu or even the likes of Babidi, they were all grateful to the wizard for helping in repairing the natural disaster that had happened around the world, apparently. Babidi hated that with every inch of his being, but at least he was alive. He'll play the Namekian's game for now, but he will find a way to break free and get his revenge. After all, he was the great Babidi, the most powerful wizard in the—
You missed the spot. Stop monologuing to yourself and fix it properly. We'll be here for the rest of the day.
I hate you.
Babidi scoffed quietly. And that's where we're going to be leaving things for right now. So what do you folks think? Do you think that Babidi will toe the line with Piccolo as his supervisor? What good could he provide with the likes of a certain kitty cat coming to play soon? Leave a comment below and let's get this discussion going. And I will see you in the next video. Catch you later!